What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Today we're gonna do some more crazy TikToks. I really like these. I think they're doing good. They're really good entertainment. Take it with a grain of salt. You don't know if it might be real, it might not be real. It's TikTok. But yeah, if y'all would hit that like, hit that sub, man. Take my channel a long ways. Let's get to it. Yeah, disclaimers.
Signal coming from the Black Knight satellite was detected by Nikola Tesla in the early 1900s. He thought it could have been an alien civilization living on Mars. Actually, it was the Black Knight satellite giving out the signal. So this thing could be super ancient. This device that's up there orbiting our planet in a polar orbit, which shouldn't even be able to happen for thousands of years, could be about 11 to 13,000 years old.
Our ancient past may have come into contact with highly advanced technology and they didn't even try to hide it from us. Starting in Egypt with this hieroglyph uncovered in the Temple of Osiris. Just have a look at these and tell me if you see anything, cause I don't know, maybe I'm the one that's tripping here. But does this not look like a helicopter? Maybe a tank or a boat? An airplane? What looks to be a spaceship, all carved into stone thousands of years old? Now I already hear the Google debunkers crying this has been proven wrong, that these are just hieroglyphs that were written many times over and these shapes are just a combination of many characters. Damn, didn't know they were there when these were carved, given how 100% certain they are of it. There's so many other questionable hieroglyphs in ancient Egypt, but I'm gonna have to save those for another video. Let's take this all the way back to the caveman days with Paleolithic cave drawings and carvings, also known as petroglyphs. These ancient aboriginal cave paintings in Australia dating back to 15,500 BC, known as the Bradshaw paintings. Take a note of the big round heads here. China Lake Naval Air Weapons Center near Death Valley, California has petroglyphs dating 16,000 years. Again, tall beings with bubble-shaped heads and lines coming out. Oh, look at that. We see similar cave drawings in Ginkgo State Park near Vantage, Washington, all in the US of A. Tassili Najjar is a plateau in Algeria, Africa, with these rock paintings dating to about 10,000 BC. Again, with these strange bobblehead creatures, almost like they're wearing helmets. Some of them even appear to be wearing gloves and full-on suits. Now, before you say, oh, that's just how they drew humans back then, well, because right beside them we have these drawings of completely normal-looking beings, so what are these creatures? Other side of the world, in Toro Muerto, Peru, petroglyphs around 12,000 years old of beings with bubbles around their heads and lines coming out. Across the ocean to Asia, cave paintings in Chhattisgarh, India, dating about 8,000 BC, feature bubble heads with lines coming out. Over to Europe, the Val Camonica prehistoric rock art in Italy, over 5,000 years old, and you tell me what you see here. A human-looking creature holding strange tools, wearing a bubble helmet with lines coming out of it. Yeah, because prehistoric humans around the world just all decided to draw the same thing, right? Then we start to come out of the Neolithic era to the oldest known civilization, the Sumerians, whose tablets include this stone carving. We have no clue what this is, but it really do look like some flying object with some force field coming out from underneath. And this other tablet looks pretty innocent until you notice this. Doesn't that kind of look like a sun shape that just so happens to have 9 balls around it? Exactly the amount of planets in our solar system. Guess they counted Pluto, so did they have advanced knowledge of our planets over 4,000 years ago? Back to the Egyptians, we see this dude in some serpent-looking craft. Could be part of their mythology, but then we see the exact same thing in the Maori of New Zealand and the Aztec and Olmecs of Central America. And now the Mayans. Oh man, what on earth is this carving? Some complex-looking contraption complete with hand controls and something up his nose? Not to mention they seem to be wearing helmets again, which sure could be decorative, but what on earth are these contraptions they're in? Is this their way of interpreting spaceships? These Mayan discs, allegedly revealed by the Mexican government, are over 1,000 years old and hidden until 2012, and I mean, just look at what's going on here. Granted, there's a lot of controversy around these, and they do seem a little fishy, but physicist Nassim Haramein gave a full presentation about it, so I don't know, you be the judge. This 3,000-year-old spaceship carving found in modern-day Turkey, but of course debunkers will admit it's anything but that. A silver-suited figurine wearing a helmet and gloves found in a Ukrainian village dating back to 600 BC. Carvings of people wearing helmets and full-on suits and gloves at the Hoysalaswara temple in India, dating back to about 900 years old, if not more. Are those spacesuits? Note that these are different from these spacesuit statues in Spain, which were actually just part of a restoration project in 1992, so don't be fooled. Even as recent as the Renaissance, tell me, what on earth are these little creatures flying in spacecraft doing in a Jesus painting from 1350? Look closely and you'll find similar flying saucers in dozens of these works of art over hundreds of years old. I mean, seriously, this list is endless. The more I looked, the more I found. And the angels you see in religious Renaissance paintings have been around a lot longer than you think. Predating even the Bible, depictions of winged beings were very popular among Egyptian hieroglyphs. And we see the same pattern in the carvings of the Sumerians, which are even older. Some of them even going a step further and showing these beings with the head of a bird. Now, why the obsession with birds? let me finish you off with this thought. If some primitive civilization were to come into contact with something they can't explain with their current understanding of the world, don't you think they would describe that thing in terms they can understand? So if they were to witness some sort of being coming down from the sky, the only thing they know that are airborne are birds. So naturally they would associate that being with a bird. Far-fetched yet plausible explanation of the popularity behind bird-like gods among these ancient cultures, which leads us to their creation myths. And yo, listen, pretty much every single one of the world's ancient civilizations have the same story of how we came to be. Okay, I know this was a lot, but I just couldn't believe what I found out about these stories, so I have to say this for another video. Hey, I gotta tell you, I might not be around for very long, Jimmy boy.
I like that. That was very interesting. I thought it was interesting. That was a lot of that, man, is old stuff, and they did look like spaceships and like astronaut suits and stuff. But grain of salt.
No, your eyes aren't deceiving you. This really is a giant petrified crocodile. And please don't try and tell me it's Pridolia, because this is not the same thing at all. It's become quite clear to me that once upon a time, humans, animals, and trees used to be a lot bigger compared to now. It's not like I'm just making this up. There is so much evidence right in front of us. It's time to stop ignoring it. The Smithsonian is responsible for hiding or losing most of the bones of these giants. You don't want to miss this one.
The Smithsonian is responsible for hiding most of the discoveries of giant humans. They don't want people to know about these giants because it goes against the evolution theory. This skull used to be on display in Winnemucca, Nevada until a few years ago when they took it down. It's in the basement. You have to specially ask to see it. A giant human skull. Here's a normal human thumb bone. Underneath is a giant human thumb bone. We've got a replica of a thigh bone in our museum from a guy that would have been about 13 feet tall. If you meet a guy like that, call him Sir. Yeah. These jaw bones are on display at a hotel in Turkey, 6.5 inches across the TFJs. Any one of you could put your head inside the jaw and bounce it around. Waukesha, Wisconsin, they found a human skull 3 times the size of ordinary humans, found in an Indian burial mound. Roman Emperor Maximus was 8'6", 2,000 years ago. Where we get our word maximum from? When the Mexicans, Cortez, went to Mexico and conquered part of it, the people who lived there said, oh, there used to be giants that lived on this continent. They brought a bone of one of these guys out. Just the thigh bone was as tall as Cortez. This is a giant block of rock. Who on earth is moving these things? Consider that's a camel in front of it for scale. Who's cutting and moving these things? This is a 39-pound axe head.
Damn cat.
Swing a 10-pound sledge for a few minutes and see why I'm wondering who's swinging a 39-pound axe head. And in Guam, they have a legend that the giants used to live on the island of Guam and built these big latte stones over there. In Indiana, 8 giants were found ranging from 8 to 9 feet long wearing heavy copper armor. The museum was not interested in them. Why would a museum not be interested in 9-foot skeletons to put on display? Could it be that there's a theory called evolution which says we started off small and we're getting bigger? Which makes us feel important, of course, you know. We're evolving. Ye shall be as gods. You're getting better. Could it be the truth is exactly the opposite? People were much bigger before the flood and now we're getting worse? And maybe they're trying to hide that?
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and follow at Mike Priest ARR for more content like this. After Professor R. Foster claimed the moon to break down the light. This is a very familiar image, and Wikipedia displays it for everyone to see. It is now associated with an infamous music album, and what is the title of that album? The Dark Side of the Moon. This means we are right on track. Radiation beams reflected off of the crystal firmament would likely be redirected down of center and into the ionosphere above our heads. The same ionosphere the ancients used to harvest their free energy from. It is here that the beams would concentrate and create the plasma phenomenon we call the moon. This may seem preposterous, which is why you should check out Part 4, coming very soon.
You ever seen that video going around recently of those potential mermaids on the side of that ship in the middle of the ocean?
No.
What?
What are you talking about?
Are you serious? There's these things that are...
Just look at this map from the 1500s. This was the Americas, and not only the massive trees, but the castles, already there in 1500. And yes, the massive trees. The trees that we are told to dismiss what our eyes see as nothing more than just coincidence, a trick of your eyes, that all these strikingly close similarities to these ancient formations' much smaller counterparts are just some form of pareidolia, and they're actually all volcanoes. Volcanoes spewing perfect hexagonal columns, just like the cell walls of a tree. But history and geology, like the two political systems, are the wings of the same bird.
And those are cut
that
like
same bird that is the
smooth,
system
like
that binds us.
it.
Those bindings are the links of endless lies that form this system of control we're in today. If it was just giant trees,
that was like
why would they lie
away.
to us? What's the purpose? The answer is there isn't really much. But you must think bigger than these trees that once soared miles into the heavens. Because compared to all the lies, the twists and perversions of truth, these ancient trees are mere saplings.
That's where we get Jack and the
But I hope
Beanstalk,
with this
probably,
channel
the trees that went up
that
into
all
heaven.
the seeds of truth, all the questions we've uncovered, will one day flourish into a forest of positive change and weaken the chains they have over us all, if not only just a little. I'll never force you to see what I see or claim to know all the answers. I'm just here to show you the possibility of something more. And to, of course, question everything, friends.
Wonder why are the rainbows we see in the sky curved like that?
The dome.
Well, we know what the Word of God teaches, which is a firmament dome that goes over the top of the flat, stationary earth. Now, what is this firmament made out of? Well, God tells us in Job 37 verse 18, "Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as a molten-looking glass?" Right, we know to make glass, it has to be heated up to a very high temperature with fire. Now this makes perfect sense when we look at Revelation 15 verses 2. "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire." So glass mingled with fire, okay. "And them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God." Hold up, so right there we know there's somebody standing on this sea of glass, right? So this once again confirms that the firmament is a solid glass dome. Now if we look at the biblical usage of firmament, it's an extended solid surface. And then it goes on to say down here, it was considered by the Hebrews as solid and supporting the waters above. Right, we know that God made the firmament. He divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And according to Bible scholars, it looks something like this. So it's not a surprise one of the founders of NASA, Werner von Braun, has on his grave Psalms 19:1. "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork," which is most likely why all your rockets curve instead of going straight up like they're supposed to.
Yep.
Now back to that rainbow. It's very common to see double rainbows where there's an inverted rainbow on top of the other one. Now this would only be possible through something that's reflecting it, right? Well, it must be God's firmament. So these rainbows not only confirm the shape, but they also tell us that there actually is a glass firmament. Because how else would this be reflecting backwards like that? God bless you guys. If you want to get the True Earth book, it's available for download in my profile. It is absolutely loaded with information.
So this is a U.S. document from 1947 that was declassified by the FBI, and it's wild. But this memorandum acknowledges the existence of alien presence. Quote, "Very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to the, quote, flying saucers. If one of these should be attacked, the attacking plane will almost certainly be destroyed." He lists like 9 bullet points summarizing what he has observed from these flying saucers. Number 1, part of the disc carries crews, others are under remote remote control. Their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this plane.
Not welcome, but glad you're peaceful.
These visitors are human-like, but much larger in size. So we're making connections now.
Giants?
Talking about fallen angels.
Yeah.
They do not embody Earth people, but come from their own world. They do not come from any planet, as we use this word, but from a etheric planet which penetrates our own and is not perceptible to us.
So it's with us, but we can't see it.
Correct.
Dimension.
The Earth being flat. Thousands of scientists have looked into it. You think they're all wrong?
Most would be quick to call them idiotic conspiracy theorists. But what if they simply knew something we don't?
What if we lived here a little bit, and when it comes around away from the sun, shouldn't it be slowed down a little bit?
But the laws of inertia, right, would argue that it's stuck in this elliptical.
You're making up things because you're trying to defend your position, which we all know.
I mean,
the globers will say that the gravity of the Earth negates the gravity of the sun. So the sun can hold on to the Earth, hold on to Pluto, but it can't affect the moon. You know who is in charge of all international flights? NASA.
Whoa.
NASA is in charge of
Actually?
all, and they run GPS.
Not a commercial plane has flown over Antarctica?
No, none, never.
Whoa, why?
Because you can't fly over Antarctica. Look at the Earth. They'll come over Antarctica, and then they'll just come back. But there's so many pilots now that have spoken out, military and commercial pilots.
A little bit too much for my brain.
This one's going to send you over the edge.
All right.
Okay?
No pun intended.
Over the edge. Southern flights prove that the Earth is not a ball. This is the World Cup soccer.
Oh.
Okay? They were in Doha. They wanted to go back to Buenos Aires. They went to Rome to refuel, and then they went back there. Why didn't they just go here? Because if they did, there's no place to refuel out here. On a flat Earth, Doha, Rome, Buenos Aires. Taiwan.
I like that. I learned some stuff. I like those TikToks. We'll have to do some more of those. Those are very interesting. But again, take it with a grain of salt. You never know really if it's real or not. But I like the flat Earth theory. I'm really into it. But yeah, if y'all would hit that like, hit that sub, man, take my channel a long ways, and it'd help me out. But yeah, till next time, man. Peace.